Here we are again. MPL presents Cricbuzz Live. The game was to start at 8 o'clock. It's 12:30 into the next day, and we've got a washout and point shed. And you know what it means when it's point shed? You can no longer go through all those convoluted arguments to figure out how RCB can make it. Because sadly, RCB fans, you were fantastic for your franchise. You turned up in numbers. You waited till after midnight, but your team is not going through. So maybe next year. We'll wait and see. But what a game, eventually. I think I know why the rain came.
Scenario.com is gone.
It's gone. Correct. I think I know why it rained. I think the rain looked at that wide call that wasn't called and said, well, that's how you're going to be, I'm coming.
Yeah. We tried to be very impartial and very fair on the umpires, but that was a long way from being correct.
Yeah, I think he was trying to tell the non-strike, and no, you were standing there. But doesn't matter. That was not the highlight of the game.
Yeah, the point of that is where you take your stance. And then he didn't move further wide. And that was way, I mean, that would have been called a wide in any official test match ever in the history of the game.
Yeah. But, and as you said, it's his go-to ball. Every time someone's slogging, he bowls that wide leg break, does jail. So he got a wicket again. It's amazing this year how many wickets he's got with that wide, loopy, tossed-up leg break on the edge of the tram lines.
Yeah, and the old saying goes, as a batsman, you always want the batsman to get close to the ball, to hit any shot. You want to get closer, and he keeps it so far. And batsmen have no choice at that end, and that's his go-to ball. But people will figure that out very quickly. If you start giving those wides, which it should have been, then he'll have to come back to where the play actually needs to happen.
How good was Sanju Samson in that little while? Is there a cleaner hitter?
Oh, I just love the way he bats. It's so nice to watch him, but it's frustrating at times because over the years when you see he does the difficult part. I mean, maybe the way I see it, it's difficult part so easily. He times the ball well. He's got power, and not muscle power, but just timing power. But through the middle of the innings, not about today, but generally when you see him, the easier part to, just get singles, because there are going to be good balls. And you learn that over a period of time. But for him, it's been, 8 years, 9 years now? So, when there's a decent ball that you can't hit for a 4 or a 6, you can defend and get a single. And I think if he works on that skill, he'll be an asset to him.
It's interesting you say that for most people, that's a bread and butter shot. You played in that position where there was a lot of bread and butter shots. Does that happen in golf as well? That the big hitters can't play the short game?
Yeah, it's often the case. You'll often have a guy who hits it the absolute mile, who, when it gets too close to the green, his wedges, that touch game. And that's a part, I mean, I haven't followed his career as closely as you guys have, but it is a part that I've seen from him. I've been a little bit disappointed is the great players. So what you do is you do the hard part, but then you've got to eliminate the risk. Somehow, for 4 or 5 balls, if you go 1, 2, odd little 4 that you just run past third man or something like that, that takes the risk factor out of it. And that's where you become more consistent, you get the bigger numbers, and you do exactly what Warner does. Warner doesn't go after everything. Yeah. He hits the big shots, yes, but he backs it up with good running between the wickets, 1s with 2s, and then also a little bit of touch play, where he'll still pick up boundaries.
Right, 2 things about today's game then. Remember, this is a huge industry. Every year, the rights are $500 million. You add something, every year's IPL is a $700-800 million enterprise. And we couldn't start play and had to start at 11:26 because, one, there was water that seeped onto the ground and you had to wait till it went away. Is there something else we can do? You had a theory? If you only... Yeah?
Yeah, I mean, I just looked
because the whole objective has to be to try and get as much play as possible.
Yeah,
it is a huge industry, huge enterprise.
It's an entertainment game as well. And sometimes the players have to give it a little bit and sometimes the officials have to give it a bit. And when it's reduced to a 5-over game, if it's a full 20-20, no problem, don't change anything. But when we looked at that pitch and we saw where the water problem was, could they not just have played 5 overs apiece from one side? Everyone bats that one side, everyone bowls this side. The wet pitch doesn't come into play, and you get a game.
You'll probably get an extra over in because you're saving time on changing on not changing ends. You'll probably get a 6-over game.
But we could have started half an hour, so it could have been an 8-over game. But even if you don't, I mean, I understand. Even sometimes I agree with it. Like if you know rain's coming on the PGA Tour, if they know rain's coming, they don't tee off at 1 o'clock. The leaders, they bring it forward. They make a 2-tee start. They start at 9 o'clock. Cricket, we've got so many radars and that kind of stuff.
No, but the Indian rain is not as well behaved and orderly. It doesn't choose.
No, but if they knew there was going to be rain,
you're right.
As soon as we got the opportunity, even if you started an hour before, everyone's at the ground warming up, most of the spectators are in, and even the spectators that come will still see some of the game rather than having a damn squid. So I think we need to be a little bit more adaptable. And I mean, I know it's easy, and people often say, "Oh, when you were a player, you didn't want to change this and this and that."
Yeah, I was going to suggest that.
We always understand that, but at the end of the day, both those teams needed the 2 points. And so somehow, I mean, there's a common sense rule I think should be implemented at times. And I think that could have been an example. Would it have killed anyone if we'd bowled 5 overs? We actually played, I remember playing in a game, it was when I was in Standard 9 or the year before qualifying. It was actually Pat Simcox was playing in the game, and we were the school
You're
team.
not that old.
No,
Simo was playing.
Lads?
I played with Simo. Yeah. But we actually had a game where it was just a pick-up game and we were playing whatever, and we bowled the whole match from one end because on that one side there was a wet patch.
That's how they're going to do it in the new 100 tournament in England.
Yeah.
You can bowl up to 10 balls. You got a different thought?
No, of course. I mean, just to add to it, I mean, we talk about technology, and as you said, the industry is that. And a day that you lose a game, I mean, the broadcasters would lose money, everybody else would. It would make sense to spend a little more money and find covers with the modern day technology that you have. There is no way in the world that you can't cover a 55-yard pitch for a game or the value that you lose here. We need to have better. I'm for technology, as I say. I think probably you won't spend as much as you spend on Hawkeye, which is rubbish and doesn't give you the right results. If you spend the same amount of money,
he just in one word demolished him. He said it's rubbish.
Naturally, because when you see a bowler bowl from the edge of the stumps, hits the pad last night. What's his name? Sandeep Sharma bowls a ball, hits the pad. All the way it's gone this way, but once it's landed, because it's an umpire's decision, you got to get it right. So it comes back and clips the wicket and goes. So I'm saying what you spend on technology, I don't think it's giving you better results. What you need to spend on is things like this. You will get a game in. This game doesn't matter because, at the end of the day, neither of them, mathematically, they had a chance to qualify, but they didn't. But imagine if this happens to somebody at the start of the season or, one game that really matters. Covers need to get better. We still can't be living in era of, those days where you could play on uncovered pitches.
Yeah.
You need to get better covers, and there are people who are providing you good covers. It's just that people don't want to spend on it.
I think radars, I mean, it's a problem we have in Durban domestically, and a lot of cricket that happens in Durban we end up with rain. The rain invariably comes at the same time. So everything, once it gets cooler at 7, 8 o'clock at night, that's when the rain comes. So if you know rain's going to come, if the radar can tell you, if the system's in place, why not start at 5 o'clock? Guys, we told there's rain going to come. We're going to play a 10-over match aside, and we're going to start early. And we can record that, and we can still play it out on the allotted time for the TVs.
And of course, when it rains in Durban, it rains like there is no tomorrow. But there's a fair point. You might think what the point of all this discussion is. It is that eventually the spectator must get to see as much cricket as possible, get as much cricket in as possible, because that's what we're all here for, isn't it? Right, where does it leave teams on the points table then? We've got an odd number. Inevitably, we get an odd number every year. So Bangalore are 9. The best they can do is they can finish with 11 when they play their last game against the Sunrisers. How big a game is that? Now, what does it mean to Rajasthan Royals? The best they can do is 13. They avoid the logjam at 12, but they can't get to 14. So the moment SRH win one of their 2 games, Rajasthan Royals are formally gone. And that means Kolkata just about. Punjab can get to 14, but with their net run rate, Punjab are having to do something they haven't done right through the year. They've lost 5 of their last 6. They need to get that run rate up. So I think it's fair to say that if Hyderabad win 1, it's all over. But the only other team that's got a reasonable chance is Kolkata, because Kolkata may not be able to catch up with Hyderabad, but Kolkata will be able to catch up with Mumbai if Mumbai lose their last 2 games, and because that's 0.35 compared to 0.1.
Yeah, and they can affect their net run rate, so they can improve theirs drastically and hurt Mumbai.
I don't think they can catch up with Hyderabad, the net run rate now, unless Hyderabad have a really bad game and Kolkata have a really big one. Right, Ajay, welcome back to the program.
I'm trying to look at those numbers and trying to figure out how somebody can go there, because Hyderabad's already at 12.
They're at 12.
They've got 2 games.
2 games.
And the other 2 teams are at 10.
Yeah.
They've
Let's put that on again to help Ajay.
And they've also got 2 games left. So, I would always back somebody who's already won the games. I mean, look at 12. They've got 12 points.
And Hyderabad played the last game against RCB.
Kolkata and Punjab have 10 each. So they actually need to win 2 and Hyderabad needs to win 1. So mathematically that looks easier. But yes, you're right. Kolkata plays Mumbai. So when you look all the way there, so either Mumbai or Kolkata qualifies the way I see it, or Hyderabad or Punjab.
No, it'd probably be Mumbai.
Can it be another scenario?
No.
No, it'd probably be Mumbai and Hyderabad. I think those would be the 2 qualifiers.
Yeah, they look.
And that'll be fair.
Yeah.
That'll be fair. That'll be fair. So it was a day for leg spinners. We saw a hat trick from Shreyas Gopal. We saw Yuzvendra Chahal pick up a game. By the end of it all, I'm afraid RCB go out and the Royals are stuck with an odd number. Now there's a top of the table clash coming up later today. And that is the Delhi Capitals taking on the Chennai Super Kings. Both have qualified. So you're thinking, what's the big deal in this game? Both have qualified. It's a big deal, especially for Chennai, because if they can finish among the top 2, they go up to 18. They're almost certain to finish among the top 2. They play their first qualifier in Chennai, and their record at home is excellent. So they'll desperately want to win this. This game's in Chennai also, by the way, isn't it? Yeah. This game. So they win this, they get to play their first qualifier in Chennai as well.
He's asking if it's in Chennai. He's going there today.
That's what IPL does to you. You don't know where you are.
He was telling us about his flight at 7:30 in the morning, and now he's going.
Pollock, can you host the rest of the program? I'm just going to struggle to get a word.
Okay, so the reason why that it's so important for Chennai is because if they do win, the playoff is in Chennai. And in fact, what they can do is if they win this game, they can send their other team.
Stand up.
They can send everyone who's in the squad. Yeah. They can take them to the next game and leave the main players to stay in Chennai and just rest and get ready for that game because they'll finish definitely in the top 2. Doesn't matter if it's top or second. And Harsha's recovered and now he can take back over.
Okay. He's right. I'm on a flight to Chennai at 7 o'clock. He's a straight-faced assassin. He's a cruel man. but it's important. I mean, Chennai plays so well there. Yeah. They want to win as many. The peculiar thing is Delhi don't like to play at home. I mean, they've won a few at home, but they don't like to play at home. But do they want to go away and play in Chennai? Delhi seem to decide they want to go away and play in Kolkata or Mumbai or Hyderabad. Do they want to go and play in Chennai?
It's the first game, right? Between the 1 and 2? Would it be the first game there?
Yes.
So they would want that in that sense. So otherwise, you're absolutely right. If they were going to be number 3 and 4 and they have 1 go, then they want that other one. But because you get 2 goes, they won't mind playing at Chennai. They want to get there. But it depends which Chennai team you're playing. Is Dhoni playing or is he turning up?
Do you think so too? Do you think that Chennai with Dhoni and Chennai without Dhoni is a world of difference?
Well, it is. I mean, a captain, a leader who's been around for that amount of time and understands the team dynamic, understands the pitches, brings his finishing power. He's a huge player for them. You can't underestimate. And also even if we're just talking about skills-wise, just the presence in the side. When you've got a guy who's a legend and brings whatever he does to the party, everyone feels comfortable. They know that Dada or Kaka or whatever it's called here in India.
Kaka's you.
Yeah, uncle, but he's also the uncle. He's almost the Chennai uncle.
That's Kaka's in western part of India. When you go down there, Tala.
Tala.
Oh.
Dhoni Tale, or it needs to be there. It makes everyone feel happy, comfortable, feel like everything's under control. So he's a big player.
Yeah, and Delhi have been a surprise team this year. I mean, Delhi, on paper, they've always looked good. Last year, they looked good as well. Delhi have been good. I mean, they go top of the table. It's a huge result for Delhi.
Yeah, it's a big result. I don't think a lot of people could see that, except that team. They certainly believed in it because of what's happened in the past. And, you weren't even 100% sure what's going to happen with, Dada joining in. Ricky Ponting probably has a total different way of looking at the game and approaching it. Dada, Indians have seen them, how he approaches the game. So whether that was going to work apart from what the players. But I think it's been fabulous for Delhi. And one thing I've maintained, I think, from day one that I saw Delhi play this year, is they haven't changed their style of play. They've let the youngsters play the way they know how to play. there have been moments in IPL over the years I've seen when the teams, go in one direction and then suddenly things change. And when does it happen? When something obviously goes wrong, and which obviously means people at home can see it. And that game when they lost against Punjab in Mohali, chasing a very small total, then they repeat that against Calcutta. Were they chasing? Or basically, they have a couple of games that go against them, and obvious thing is to change the style of play. Oh, everybody should get responsible. But I've just loved the way they've been playing freely. There is no jigsaw puzzle there. There is only one big puzzle. If it's your day, see us through. And that's the style of play I always
It's not really nothing you can do. Let's look at the Chennai Super Kings squad then. Let's see if they can make any changes to that squad. If Dhoni comes back in, now clearly Dhoni came in, Dhruv Shorey will have to go out. So Dhoni comes in. Ravindra Jadeja, suppose Jadeja comes back in, but remember Dhoni didn't just have a back, he had a flu. And one of them had a flu, one had a viral infection. But if Jadeja does come back, it does two things. One is it allows Jadeja to come in for Santner. Then it means Faf du Plessis can come back at the top of the order. But of all their players, Murali Vijay looked the most fluent in their last game.
He looked good.
So do they stay with Murali Vijay? Those are the issues that the Chennai Super Kings have. I'll tell you one thing about Dhoni, though. If he has even the slightest niggle, he won't play. Because he said to me that day on the presentation as well, he said, my back is not what it was. I need to be very careful. There's a big World Cup coming. If my back is an issue, I will rest it.
Man, and that's the right thing. I mean, if he thinks that that's the thing, and it's not easy. I mean, even if it is not because of this and something goes wrong at the IPL and he plays here, sorry, not at the IPL, at the World Cup, all of us in India, emotional people, when it gets to the World Cup, you can get injured even without having a past injury.
Correct.
But when it's a public knowledge, you've got to know you missed a game, you come back early here and something goes wrong there, and he's been around for long enough to understand that. Yeah. So I have a feeling he'll probably just,
rest out this one. Because they've got one more game. He can come back and play that last game against us.
And the other thing that I've seen this year with him is if you see the two sides he might be playing in the knockout or in the finals, he's actually sat out. He sat out that Hyderabad game because that's my feeling. I may be totally wrong. I don't know whether he's fit or not. But he thinks so far ahead in the game. Because like he said, when Dhoni's around, he plays the game differently looking at the other guys. And 2020 is all about being ahead of the game. 2 overs if you have figured out that when they start and when they go slow. So maybe he's just sitting there. I may be totally wrong, and he may just be sitting there and enjoying.
We'll discover shortly. We'll discover shortly. We've made sufficient progress. We know what the game is. We've made sufficient progress. Let's look at Delhi Capitals then. Remember they play on a slowish puddingy pitch in Delhi, but it's not too different. Chennai, we've noticed the pitches have got better as the tournament's gone along. But if there's no dew, batting first is turning out to be an advantage because the tracks are getting slower. The other thing, they've not made wholesale changes to their side. They've now given Shafin Rutherford a go, and he's come good. They've brought back Sandeep Lamichhane. He's come good.
Yeah, I think it'll be similar kind of surface to the ones that they play on their ground, and that's why the only thing I think about them is they don't really enjoy those slow surfaces. I don't think it plays into their game plan. I think they play their better cricket on a decent surface, and we saw their last game in Delhi was the best surface we've seen so far from them. So for me, I just feel this kind of surface, if you get one that stops and turns in Chennai, I don't think they'll like that as much. So I still need for them to go the whole way, they're going to have to produce a good game on one of those kind of surfaces, whether it's now or in the playoff games. So we have to wait to see if they can do that.
Yeah, it's a big factor. We talk about Murali Vijay. Big factor, Shikhar Dhawan's come back into form, and that's just changed the whole approach to the side. So there you are. That is the Delhi Capitals taking on the Chennai Super Kings. We've got our MPL Super Player of the Day. The MPL hero of the day, the super player of the day. No, you're just a super couch. It's not the superhero of the day.
I'm the couch over here in Cricbuzz.
It's got to be our hat-trick hero, surely.
Okay, we'll tell you the players and then we'll tell you who's won it as well. Got to be Shreyas Gopal, of course. So 3 dot balls in the 1 over. Picked up 3 wickets. Those were the 3 dots, actually. So Shreyas Gopal, we've talked about Shreyas Gopal. He's the MPL hero of the match. Now, who's the super team hero? Remember we talked about, can we get 400 points? Can we get almost? Sanjay Saini Kohliya, bada number chauda naam hai aapka. Sanjay Saini Kohliya, Behral, you've got the points, 395 is a good result.
He just needed the game to finish, he would have got 450.
Yeah, there you go. If you had got 3 more balls, maybe you'd have got the 400 as well. So well done, Sanjay. You've won it. Now I don't know if you're the quizzing kind, Sanjay, because if you're the quizzing kind, you might have got a double today. Let's see what it was. This was the joy factor question today. And this was, which singular test record has Narendra Hirwani and Ashish Nehra at joint second place, with the West Indies batsmen of the 70s and 80s just ahead? Now, we did give Joy a really hard time with this question yesterday. As I said, we thought it was just an easy single to mid-wicket, and he's come up with a real toughie. What was the answer? One of the people in the studio at the moment might have a word or two to say. Each of the 17 tests they played was at a different venue. Fouad Barkas played 19 test matches, each of those at a different venue. Hirwani and Nehra played 17 test matches, each at a different venue. And Ajay Jadeja played
15.
Each at a different venue.
Each at different venue, and I can assure you more than both of them put together in more countries.
Yeah. So you played a test.
Were you a bit of a Tommy tourist?
I was the best tourist that you can ever get. I was blessed to have toured everywhere with the test team.
Just play one.
I'm grateful at least they gave me one game. So you played? I did nothing in those games anyway.
You played test in South Africa, of course. You played test in West Indies.
Yes.
You played in England.
Yes.
You played New Zealand.
Sri Lanka.
Lanka.
Yes.
So you missed Zim.
Zim we.
Zim and Australia. Zim and Australia. Those were the two you missed.
And Pakistan, because
Bangladesh, no?
Bangladesh wasn't around then.
Bangladesh wasn't around. He goes back a long way, you see.
I'm ancient.
And Pakistan, so there you are. We've got another little explanation, another little factoid around that answer. Who won it? Who won it? Let's see who won it. Nah,
Rohit.
Okay. You don't know him. Now, I saw a tweet by this guy. And he said, I try and predict Joy's questions. He said, yes, it was Ashish Nehra's birthday. I thought there might be Ashish Nehra's, some question about Ashish Nehra. I prepared some questions. Crick Rohit, if that is indeed true, go get a life.
Can I
go get a life? I mean, I'm sure there's better things to do, but well done. That was a good answer.
I feel like meeting this man. I want to spend some time and learn things from Crick Rohit. Can I send in a little request to connect with me?
What do you think? On Twitter?
Twitter.
Oh, you've just logged out of Twitter.
I'm a tweeter, and Twitter anyway, so I don't want to go to Twitter. But through Cricbuzz, if I can get to him. I'd love to spend some time with him.
Okay, there you go. So that's what happened today. We came here, we went on air at 7:30, we finished at 12:30, and in all this period, this is what happened. This is the amount of cricket we got in all this time that we were in the studio. One team batted 5 overs and lost 7 wickets at the end. Umesh Yadav and Navdeep Saini were batting. They made 35 of the first 8 balls and then only 27 of the next 22. Kohli 25 of 7. He's smashed a few sixes. I thought Samson's 28 of 13 was excellent too. Liam Livingstone smacked one in, and then the rain came down. So there you are. So that's how it ended. Bangalore got 1 point. The Royals got 1 point. Bangalore finished 9th, and the Royals are on 11. Both have 1 game to play. So there you are. Thank you very much, Ajay Jadeja. I'm not even going to look at Shaun Pollock. He's been very cruel to me today.
I've been cruel.
And you will have somebody else hosting this, not tomorrow actually, later today. I'll be on a plane to Chennai. But thank you very much for joining us. Hopefully there'll be no rain there. Hopefully we'll get good game and we'll have lots of laughter on MPL Presents Cricbuzz Live. See you then.